Hello, this will be from the Essentials of Strength and Training and Conditioning book, 3rd edition. We're going to read from page 86, shoulders. Shoulders, and then we'll probably go into knees. The shoulder is particularly prone to injury during resistance training due to both its structure and the forces to which it is subjected during a training session. Like the hip, the shoulder is capable of rotating in any direction. The hip is a stable ball and socket joint, but the glenoid cavity of the shoulder, which holds the head of the humerus, is not a true socket and is significantly less stable. The shoulder joint has the greatest range of motion of all the joints in the human body. It is so mobile that the head of the humerus can actually move 1 inch out of the glenoid cavity during normal movement. But the joint's excessive mobility contributes to its vulnerability, as does the proximity of the bones, muscles, tendons, ligaments, and bursae in the shoulder. A small degree of swelling in a muscle due to an injury, however minor, can bring about friction with adjacent structures that can worsen the original injury and cause damage to previously uninjured tissue. The stability of the shoulder largely depends on the glenoid labrum, the joint synovium and capsules, ligaments, muscles, tendons, and bursae. The rotator cuff muscles, the supraspinatus, the infraspinatus, the subscapularis, and the teres minor, and the pectorals are particularly instrumental in keeping the ball of the humerus in place. With the shoulder's great range of motion, its various structures can easily impinge on one another, causing tendinitis as well as inflammation and degeneration of contiguous tissue. High forces generated during resistance training can result in tearing of ligaments, muscles, and tendons. Athletes must take particular care when performing the various forms of the bench, incline, and shoulder press exercises because of the great stresses these place on the shoulder. For these exercises, it is particularly important to warm up with relatively light weights and to follow a program that exercises the shoulder in a balanced way, using all of its major movements. See the following section. It is best to exercise at a controlled speed rather than to lower a weight rapidly and decelerate it sharply in the transition from the eccentric to the concentric phase of repetition. That was shoulders. Let's go into knees. The knee is prone to injury because of its location between two long levers, the upper and lower leg. Flexion and extension about the knee occur almost exclusively in the sagittal plane. Rotation in the frontal plane and transverse plane is prevented mainly by ligamentous and cartilaginous stabilizing structure, yet it does not take a great amount of torque about the knee in the frontal plane to cause serious damage. Frontal plane torque on the knee occurs, for example, when a football player is hit at mid-leg from the side while his foot is planted firmly on the ground. Fortunately, in training, resistive torque occurs almost exclusively within the knee's normal plane of rotation. Of the various components of the knee, the patella and surrounding tissues are most susceptible to the kinds of forces encountered in resistance training. The patella's main function is to hold the quadriceps tendons away from the knee axis of rotation, thereby increasing the moment arm of the quadriceps group and its mechanical advantage. The high forces encountered by the patellar tendon during resistance training can lead to tendinitis, which is characterized by tenderness and swelling. The moment arm, the tendon coming over the patella, the farther it is away, you increase the moment arm, which is kind of cool. It helps. It is not unusual for individuals to use knee wraps during training or competition. The wraps vary from thin, elastic, pull-on variety that can be purchased in drugstores to the heavy, specialized wraps sold only through weightlifting supply houses. The use of knee wraps, particularly the heavy ones, is most prevalent among powerlifters. Very little research has been done on the efficacy of knee wraps. Detrimental side effects have been reported, however, including skin damage and chondromalacia patellae, the wearing down and roughening of the posterior surface of the patella. Though there is no available evidence that wraps protect the knee against injury, an experiment conducted by Harmon and Frykman showed that wraps can improve performance. Though through a spring effect alone, heavy wraps around the knees added an average of 25 pounds, 110 newtons to squat lifting force. The notion that wraps work only by stabilizing the knee, lessening the athlete's fear of injury, or providing a kinesthetic cue is incorrect. Let's read that one again. The notion that wraps work only by stabilizing the knee, lessening the athlete's fear of injury, or providing a kinesthetic cue is incorrect. The wraps actually provide direct help and extension in the knee. On the basis of the lack of evidence that knee wraps prevent injury and the opinion of a number of health practitioners who assert that knee wraps can actually cause injury, athletes should probably minimize the use of wraps. If used at all, knee wraps should be limited to sets with the heaviest load. All right, cool. So that was page 86 through 87. That's shoulders and knees. All right, cool. See ya.